Ask the Expert, brought to you by Auger Hollingsworth.
And we are back with Ask the Expert with Auger Hollingsworth. Here's their contact information. If you have any questions from today's segment or something about that you're dealing with at home, this is how you get a hold of them. 613-233-4529. You could also email them info@ahinjurylaw.com. Their website is up there. They're on 1443 Woodruff Avenue at 304 O'Connor Street if you have any questions. We are talking today about slip and fall accidents. We have Brenda joining us this morning. We are talking about what to do and initially, take some photos, especially the area surrounding you. But then what happens when it comes to you're actually injured and you need to provide some notice? That's really important.
Yeah, so notice is the single most treacherous part of a slip and fall claim. In Ontario, there's some really short notice periods. Everybody knows that there's things called limitation periods, but notice periods are even shorter. So that is where you have to give written notice of to the owner of the property that you have fallen and been injured and that you might bring a claim. Your claim doesn't have to be all ready, but you have to give them written notice. So for some government properties, like a sidewalk, the notice period can be 7 days or 10 days. So super, super short. For private property, like if you slip at a shopping mall in the parking lot, it's 60 days. So still pretty short. And a lot of times we hear from clients, well, I didn't give notice, but the guy knows because I fell on his property. Doesn't matter, it has to be written notice. And so do that. Like even before you phone a lawyer, do that. And if it's a government property, if you Google, give notice to the city of whatever city, it'll come up how to do it, and it's usually a portal that you can send, or you can send an email, or you can drop it off at City Hall, but you have to give written notice. If you hire us really quick, we'll do it, but often, 7 days, you might not, if you're injured, you might not be in your lawyer's office within 7 days, so you want to do it.
It's so quick that can happen too. So
Yeah.
I think from what you just stated too, regardless of whether it's government or private property, just go on that week window just to make sure you're being as safe as possible.
That's right, and it's sometimes hard to tell what's public property, what's private property. Sometimes we give notice to 3 or 4 people and we'll sort it out later. If you've missed the notice period though, don't give up, because there can be excuses, there can be reasonable excuses, and if we can make that work for you, we definitely will.
Okay, so Brenda, we've talked about the steps that you should take with the notice, with getting the photos. Then as the lawyer, from your standpoint, how do you prepare for a case like that?
Yeah, so the main thing in slip and fall cases is usually proving that there was negligence. So, what was the condition? So was there ice? And was it reasonable that there was ice? Like, we live in Ottawa. There's going to be ice. No matter who you are, there's going to be ice sometimes, and the law doesn't expect you to be perfect. The law expects you to be reasonable. So that does mean that, you put salt down. Even if you don't like salt or you think it's not environmental or not good for your pets, you have to put some kind of grit. And, in an ideal world, especially if you're a business owner, you want to write down when you put it down. You want to have a record so that you can show. Because if you can't prove, if the person who's injured says, I slipped and there was no grit, and the owner can't prove that they applied grit or they had a contractor whose job it was to apply grit, you're going to be in a tough position. Now, most of the time, they'll have insurance.
Yeah.
Your insurance will respond, but they're looking for you as the property owner for the evidence. They don't create the evidence, so you want to keep track of what you do, and you want to do it, faithfully.
So many things to think about.
Oh, yeah.
This is why it's so great to have you here, because I feel like just on slip and falls alone, we could talk about this so much. But we appreciate your time, at least for now. But we are going to give people an opportunity if they want to continue that conversation. But we always appreciate you coming in with us.
No, my pleasure. Thanks a lot.
So slip and falls, we still have much more to cover. So if you want to contact Auger Hollingsworth to continue that conversation or something else that's going on in your world, you can call them, 613-233-4529. Email info@ahinjurylaw.com. Their website is up on there. And again, thank you so much, Brenda, for joining us
Thanks
this morning.
for having me.